What is going on, guys? In this video, we're cutting right to the chase, and I'm going to quickly show you how to fix your crappy overhead position when holding a kettlebell, because it's going to fix a lot of exercises for you. Let's do it. All right, now when you are doing overhead exercises with a kettlebell, so a press or push press, a snatch or Turkish get up, if you do not have a proper overhead position, it is going to be not only inefficient because it's going to be wobbly up overhead and things aren't going to be stabilized, but it's also going to be a little dangerous because things aren't stable, and there's a good chance you catch a snatch or you're moving with a Turkish get up that your shoulder moves in a way that it doesn't want to. So this very quick, very simple fix is going to completely change that for you forever. Now, there are two things that I'm going to mention when we do this. The first one is flex your wrist. That is taking your wrist and doing this right here, turning it in this direction. The other thing is going to be knuckles that you would punch with towards the ceiling. That is going to be a very important thing. Those are going to be the two things that you need to focus on when doing or holding this kettlebell up overhead. So let's take our kettlebell. It should be a light one because you should be practicing here, and we're going to get it up overhead. Now, what you see a lot of people do is this right here. They break their wrist and they have a bend here, and the knuckles that you would knock on a door with are the ones pointed towards the ceiling. This is an extremely uncomfortable and unsafe and inefficient position. You can notice that your arm might be starting to wobble a little bit if you hold it here. What I want you to do is adjust this kettlebell so your knuckles you would punch with are towards the ceiling and your wrist is flexed. Now, this might be a slightly more uncomfortable position as the kettlebell is now going to be resting on your wrist and forearm just a little bit more, but that is something that, quite frankly, you just have to get used to, because it is better to have a little bit of a bruise there than to be jacking up your wrist and shoulder. So please just get accustomed to that kettlebell sitting on your wrist. So the only thing that you really need to focus on with the kettlebell up overhead is wrist flexed and knuckles you punch with towards the ceiling. When you get the kettlebell up overhead, so if you finish a press or you're holding it for a Turkish get up, or you just landed in this top position with a snatch, you should be able to open your hand and your fingers are pointed towards the ceiling, and this should be comfortable. If your wrist is bent and you try to open your hand, it's gonna be really uncomfortable. There is a nice straight line from my fingers to my wrist, to my elbow, to my shoulder, and that is a very strong position. When joints are stacked over one another, it is a strong and safe position. If you do those two things, flex the wrist, knuckles you punch with towards the ceiling, I promise you, you're going to have a much safer and a much more efficient overhead position with kettlebells, which will allow you to go up in weight for certain exercises, which will allow you to get stronger. It's a simple equation. I hope that helped. I'll see you guys next time.